So guys, here we are. Purple Yellow Lakers Croc deck list that recently got top 4 in a weeklies. Leader ability. On opponent's turn, when you return Dawn from your field to your Dawn deck, you can ramp one Dawn as active, only once per turn. So the strategy of this deck is to, because you're purple, you ramp. Because you are also yellow, you play burn cards. So what do you mean burn cards? You take the life of your opponent without having to attack them. So that's the build. So one of the main card for Croc, and I think only Lakers Croc can only use, only the leader Croc can only use this, fully utilize the VV ability. So its ability is, on opponent's attack, you may return one Dawn from your field back to your Dawn deck, then ramp one active Dawn. Because of your leader ability, after this is done resolving, you can resolve purple yellow Croc's ability to thereby, and it's not once, and that's not on play, it's on opponent's turn, on opponent's attack. You can use this multiple times, and this is also a blocker. So this is a ramp for this deck, and I think only purple Lakers Croc can only utilize this. So if I cannot draw this, I can try to ramp using this one too. So its ability on play, discard one card, ramp rested Dawn, one rested Dawn. But the ideal play is to go first and find this. Another play would be, if you're going first and you did not find this, you can also do like this. You can also use this Iori. You activate this on your Dawn 3, put this in your life, because the trigger Dawn -1, play this card, then you activate its on play, you discard one card, ramp rested, and you can trigger Croc's ability. So that's how I build this deck. I've been experimenting trigger decks, and I've come across a build for purple yellow Croc. Most of the build for Lakers Croc is utilizing, which we'll get into later, this one, the Okama way. You redirect the attack to one of your character that has on KO triggers. So like Basil Hawkins, Kikonojo, Magellan. That's how they build. But for this build, I only use this for defense. You can also ramp using, this one. But I only have 2, so I just put it. It should be for Miss Wednesday. This one is also a ramper, but it must be on your 7 Dawn turn. It must be 4 of this, but I don't have any more copies, so I just use this. So next, so the idea for me, I build this deck to go first so that I can ramp on my Dawn 3 to go into 6 Dawn. So my target for my 6 Dawn turn is this one. this one. And your opponent on play, trash if your opponent's life is 3 or more, trash one of their life. So because if you play this on curve, your opponent is just played his Dawn 5, his cost 5 character, and you just trash, and then you play this on your 6 Dawn turn. Then the board didn't improve, at least for you. It didn't change anything. You just take, your opponent just take 1 life. But if you put this in a ramp deck, your opponent just played 4 Dawn turn. I think the 4 costed characters not that threat for now. Threat, it's not that does not pressure you that much, no? So then ideally after you play this, you should go into this. You don't need to ramp, but if your VV sticks, the next play with this one would be this one. So trash 1 life again. So from 3 to 2 last turn. So if you play this, your opponent's most likely on 2 life. Then you play this, he's on 1 life. Then you can attack with Robin and your leader. That's the ideal setup. That's how I build this deck. If you didn't draw this, you have an alternative Big Mom. I really like Big Mom cards, but the ability of this is you trash 1 card, your opponent choose to trash their life or trash 2 cards from their hand. But one disadvantage of this card is, even if your opponent cannot satisfy one of the choices, for example, if he has 0 life, he can still choose that option, thereby trashing no cards from their life. Or if he has 1 life and then no cards, he can opt to choose to trash 2 cards even though he has 2 cards. I think that's the ruling for this one. So it's not that powerful late game, but on the mid game, an extra copy of this one. So that's why there's a Big Mom here. And if you didn't draw this, and you didn't draw any of this on your Dawn 8, you have another, either you can heal another Big Mom, the 7 cost Mom, or your opponent takes 1 life. So that's why I have 2 Big Moms here. So after, I really like playing Nico Robin, but you know, the one downside I can see is that you did not affect the board of your opponent, and it's not that proactive. But so in solving that, I build this deck to be a trigger deck. So I have, I think, 6 pairs of triggers. It's 6 pairs because this is also a trigger, and this is also a trigger. So what they usually do, and as you can see, if you are trying to build a trigger deck, you can encounter 3 types of triggers that summons from. So I build this deck to put cards that triggers that summons into my field. So the trigger, this summon, when triggered, summon to the field, summon to the field. This one, I don't have extra copy of this one. This is just a draw, but this is summon to the field. This one also summons to the field, and this one. because it's quite the cost for this one is quite steep, because it's Dawn -1. So the only leader without having to lose Dawns that can take advantage of this trigger is the purple yellow Croc. And I look up the Baruch works and other cards that has triggers that can summon. You will encounter the Baruch work cards, but as you can see, these are the cards. I think only 4 cards that are 5k power. The Wednesday, and this is a Big Mom card, but still can be used by Purple Croc because of the trigger. And then we have the new card that's for 5k power. The rest, it's a trigger, but it's less than 5k power, so I didn't put it in my deck, just like this. This is a trigger, but it's just 4k power. In the OP13 meta, you will have a hard time because you have 6k leaders like Ace and the Roger, the 7k power. And also other kind of trigger cards is this one, the Big Mom cards, this one. But the trigger or the cost for the trigger is quite steep. You discard 1 card, so that's why I only put two of them. So the ability of this is to trigger, discard 1 card, summon this, no other cost. And then you can also take 1 of your life and add 2k power. This one, Dawn 1 gains double attack and 1k power. So this deck is in aggro mode. That's how I build this deck. So in the first turns, you happily take life and hoping that you can trigger one of this one. And another on play of this is your leader gets 1k power for this turn, and this one on KO ramp rested on. So you can, if you build this right, you can build your board fast. You'll be surprised you have 3 bodies on the board on the earlier turns. The downside is if you take life that much earlier, the first trigger is a free trigger, the Dawn 1, but the second trigger is a minus to your Dawn, because if this triggers, if this triggers, what you call that, in the same turn, you will be minusing Dawn. So that's why the ideal setup is one of this trigger, the -1 trigger, and this kind of card. So you can happily take 2 life, but as what I observe playing this deck, at most you can happily take 1 life and defend the next one. And then and this deck pressures a lot. So if you have this on board, this is a 2k, is a double attack, 7k power. This is a pre 5k attack. This one also, this 7k. So it pressures your opponent, along with the trashing of life cards. Your opponent really has to have a good draw. And sometimes I think 2 of my matches, I put 4 Dawn here on my 8 Dawn turn, and hitting big attacks, and the opponent takes 2 life. So that's how I build this deck. Then if you're on